Hi, and welcome to this episode of Collaborwocky. Join our vibrant community and watch our latest episodes at modusinstitute.com/Collaborwocky. In this episode, our hosts talk about A3 thinking and its potential for strategic alignment.
So insight into operations through A3. So for people who don't know, an A3 is a one sheet of paper, or that is an A3 size sheet of paper, or for you that still use inches and things like that, it's 11 by 17. And on that is a little, what people would now call a canvas. But this predates the canvas craze, but it helps you define your problem, define the situations that are leading to the problem, figure out solutions to the problem, and then run experiments to solve the problem. Started at Toyota, used in every single avenue of human endeavor since then. It is a lean tool. But what people usually use it for is like, oh, the milk frother is broken. How can we fix the milk frother? Or how can I get more cups of coffee, produced in 15 minutes or something like that. But what we don't see is how to use an A3 for strategy, an A3 for operations. And so we thought we'd talk about that a little bit. And what I like about this is that the A3 itself, and we'll put one in the notes, and if you can't find them, come to Modus Institute and look for this episode on the site.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just wanting to know if I can share my screen. I do have a template. So this screen that I'm sharing was based on the course, Practical Value Stream Mapping, and then the Lean Agile Visual Management course by Modus Institute. Jim, take it away.
Okay, so this very quickly is an A3. You can see there's a problem statement. We've added a couple of things in here. So basically the customers are basically who cares about this problem or who cares about this thing that you're trying to solve. And then there's impacts, the current state, which is like how things are going right now, future state, which is what is it that you would like to see, your analysis, investigation and remedy, experiments and results. So this is a different type of A3 than you will see from the generic lean template. But if you do Google just A3 template, you will see that this isn't the only variation, that there's millions of variations on this. But the goal here is to make sure that every time you're looking at your problem that you're trying to solve, or every time you're looking at the situation that you're trying to define, you're also constantly looking at that problem statement and the customers and the impacts. Because as your understanding of what you're doing evolves, those three key boxes will change often. Mm-hmm. And if they aren't, then you're not doing it right. And what's interesting about this is, like I said, this is mostly used for solving like operational problems, but not actually to see how operations is operating. So what using this in a more strategic way would be that your problem statement would be something like, when we are working over the course of months, when we are working together, we frequently stop using our Kanban. Or as we are working together, we find that we start off very collaborative and then we break off and end up in individual tasks. And the more we're doing individual tasks, the more confused people become about what's going on. So the more collaborative we are, the more aligned we are, the more individual tasks we are, the more not aligned we are. And we've struggled with this even at Modus Institute over the last several months, where we have really high focus when we're all working together on a thing. And then even if we break off into small groups, we very quickly lose that focus. So that's like a strategic problem that we're trying to solve. We also, so Lex Schroeder, who used to be at the Lean Enterprise Institute and has been at Twitter and now is a writer and is just an amazing thinker about these things. She's going to do a class on inclusive strategy development in the upcoming months. and that will be offered several times. This, for me, has really started me thinking about these things. This was too long of an intro for a Collaborwocky, but what does that make you all think? About the taking the tool that was meant for one thing and applying it to a broader context.
Well, and it's funny as you were saying that I was thinking of one of the failure modes I would see with the use of A3s, and that was, oh, this is for the leader to use. That's a common pitfall I've seen. It's not. It's for everyone involved in the work. Because if it's just the leader, you're getting just the leader's perspective. You're not getting all the perspectives about what's the current situation, what's the future situation that we need. Because what a leader might think is the future, the people who are doing different types of work might say, yeah, but we also need this, or we should avoid that. So it's really getting all the perspectives of the people who are involved in the work. That was a failure mode that hit me often on using A3s. What about you, Thishanthan?
So I'm not used to using A3s for problem solving. So I can't really say much about it, though I did attempt to use it in one of the projects just to get a little bit more idea of how to use it. And like you said, the way that the current organization that I'm at is organized, there is a strong hierarchy, and it's a command and control sort of approach, and this kind of work is beyond the pay grade that I'm paid to participate in. And it's going back to your comment about, when you see the A3, it's like, oh, okay, it's just the leader's vision, whatever it might be, the team lead or the product owner or whatever else. And so my experience has been, because, being new to it and all, I don't, the rest of the team hasn't been brought up to speed on how to participate in this manner. And it doesn't lend itself, because of the lack of experience and the lack of understanding and the control strategies with the organization. It doesn't lend itself in particular to the way that this works. And again, going back to the previous ticket where we talked about the toxic waste and how we ourselves are setting up these systems, to me, this particular tool can solve a lot of it, because it does help to visualize where we are revisiting the problem statement. We are revisiting who the customer is, and to understand what is going on in our day-to-day. So that's my long-winded way of saying I don't know, but I am attempting
but
to. But
that's okay, because not everybody else knows about this either. That's why we're doing this. Mm-hmm. It's funny when you said that, Thishanthan. It reminded me of times where I was not the leader, but I wanted to explore these questions. So I would play the role of bumbling detective. I could date myself and say Columbo, but not everybody would know that reference anymore. But I'd go, so what's our current situation? Why is it messed up? And just get into conversations about that. Or, wow, what might be a better future? I'm doing a slight Columbo accent there.
A slight.
It's slight. But it's getting curious and getting others to be curious about what would better look like. And you sometimes you capture those answers in stealth and say, well, I was kind of drawing it out here on this piece of paper. What do you think? And sometimes you don't have to be the leader. You just have to capture the visualization.
So my comment in there about lean people are crying in their beer right now is the whole goal of the A3 was to make sure that people who were making these decisions got out into the Gemba and solved the problem with the people who were actually doing the work. And but people who will teach A3s will often teach that you need an A3 owner, because there's still this belief that you need one person to own something in order for it to get done, which I chafe at, obviously.
Yeah, the A3 master.
That's well, and so that's what ends up happening, and then the logical outcome of that is that people now think that A3 is for the leader or for the guy or for that person, and then we're just participating when they tell us to participate, but it's not an open collaborative tool for everyone to gain alignment and consensus around what's going on, what could be fixed, and how to get there. And I think that is a shame, because it's not what the tool is designed for. It's just how people have it's the direction that people have taken it. So it's one of the big things that I think, like, for this particular topic, is that if we're able to use the A3 more strategically, which means more collaboratively, then we will all benefit from that.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Collaborwocky, where curiosity meets community. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Whether you're sipping coffee, commuting, or even Gemba walking, lean into the agile rhythm of life, and may your personal Kanban boards be forever whip limited. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep those headphones snug. This is the Collaborwocky team signing off. Join us for the next episode on iTunes, on Spotify, or at modusinstitute.com/Collaborwocky.